Here on Open House, I just thought we were having a chat about a little bit of magic on the programme today, and you can have magic and you can have magic. But the fellow who's going to do a bit of magic for us at the moment is an old pal of ours that I've seen him work up very much up close. That's Pat Fallon. Pat, you're very welcome.
Good to see you, Marty.
Good to see you, sir, and thank you for joining us today.
It's a pleasure.
There is a specific reason for your presence, however, and that is for us to say congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Because you've been inducted.
I have indeed.
You have.
Highly honoured. And the Magic Circle in London saw it in their wisdom to bestow upon me the Inner Magic Circle with Gold Star, which is a very special award.
But this is not something that happens to many people, and I'm not aware of anybody else in Ireland.
There isn't in Ireland. There were only two ever magicians Irish. One lives in Los Angeles and the other one lives in London. But I'm the only Irish-based magician working and performing here who's ever received this award.
And how did you get the Gold Star?
Well, they said it was in recognition of my professional performance over a long period of time.
Right.
Also the fact that I lecture to magicians as well. I've been a performer of all types of magic, from close-up magic to full stage magic and illusion shows, and everything else in between. Also advising on plays, movies and stuff like that.
It's fantastic. Now, you're going to do a few things for us.
Couple of
which I love. Now, I better explain to you at home, because I haven't seen these. Now, other people around here have, because that's okay. And I haven't seen them on purpose, because it's better, isn't it?
It is, actually.
Nothing worse than somebody pretended that he's, oh yeah, great. Having seen it 5 minutes ago. I haven't seen. So what are you going to do? You brought rope, so I take it.
Some rope, yeah.
I take it there's a reason for that.
Well, you don't have to say, give him a politician enough rope and he'll hang himself.
That's
give
true.
a magician enough rope and he'll do you a trick.
All right.
It's a very long piece. Please examine it, make sure it's solid piece of rope doesn't stretch.
Seems to be working.
Followed by a medium-sized piece, which you can also check, and a very small piece.
Yes, it is medium. Do you want these back in any order?
I would take no any order at all. It doesn't make any
order.
difference.
Sorry, that's your
That's fine. We have a medium-sized piece, we have a very small piece, and a very long piece. Now, I've always believed that probably it would be better if every piece of rope in the world was exactly the same length.
Yes.
So what I propose to do today is impossible. Is to take three pieces of rope, put the ends together like this, and create the impression that all the ropes are exactly the same length. Okay. Because these ends are equal to these ends, but obviously not the bits in the middle. Now, those middle bits are not terribly important. It's the ends that count. So if these ends are equal to these ends, you now know that each piece of rope which you examine are exactly the same length. The small one is equal to the long one and the medium-sized piece. I really believe this myself, Marty, so what I'm going to do is tie the ends together. And judging by your reaction, you don't believe it either. Because
I think I do.
What we do is we tie the ends together, and you could see that quite definitely that one is equal to that one, equal to that one, and they don't stretch. Now, please tug them. You will see they are solid pieces of rope.
No, they are solid, yes,
now,
I'll give you that.
Later on, when the show is over, of course, you can let go now. You're having more fun than I intended. I can roll them up like this, pop them under my pillow or put them in my bag. Yes. But the next time I take them out and find that the small piece of rope will actually end up back down on this end here. Now, if it is, I can open it like that. You will be able to see that it is quite definitely a small piece of rope. We have a very long piece of rope, which is still in the centre, which you can also examine. And we have a medium-sized piece. And you will see that quite definitely they do not stretch in any way.
But Pat, I saw them all the same length. I saw them the same length.
But that's why I'm now in a Magic Circle with Gold Star.
That's absolutely true. That's fantastic.
Well, thank you.
That's fantastic. Can you do another one for me?
Well, I'll do you a little card trick.
Yeah.
You know that magicians are sometimes...
Can I get rid of these?
Oh, you can, yeah. Sometimes magicians are accused of using a marked deck.
Yes, that's right.
Now, I'd actually use a marked deck.
You would?
Oh, I do, yes.
Oh, yeah.
They have to be marked on the front, otherwise we can't tell one from the other.
Very good, yeah.
But these are very special, Marty. They're marked on the back with my favourite movie stars. Like we have Sharon Stone, for instance. Yeah. Now, you know it's every man's basic instinct to know who Sharon Stone is.
Very good.
Yes, absolutely. And you have Bruce Willis is here. You also have Jodie Foster and Danny DeVito. 52 of my favourite movie stars.
Yes.
Now, if I asked you to select one in this way, you would know what you were selecting.
Okay.
So I want you to indicate just with your finger so you get a perfectly free shot. Any one of those cards. It doesn't make any difference. I want you to, this one here, which is the 4 of clubs.
4 of clubs. Would
you be surprised if I could tell you what was in the back of the 4 of clubs?
I would.
Well, you see, I wouldn't, because I wrote the cards. The only thing is that if I could remember...
We're doing this sober. It's hard to believe.
It would be Jack Nicholson. 4 of clubs would be Jack Nicholson.
Okay.
You had a free choice of any one of these, but you've chosen Jack Nicholson. Now, that may seem to you like just a random selection. But, Marty, earlier today, I had this premonition. Now, War Officer had another one. And it would be that when we would come here today, this envelope has been in full view all along. Yes. It would state that the movie Magic would be starring Jack Nicholson. Now, I'm glad you told everybody we had not met beforehand and discussed this. But brilliant. I have to say one thing. That's brilliant. If, for instance, I asked you to try and figure out which of the other 52 stars may be connected to Nicholson in some way, you probably wouldn't have an idea. So please, again, just randomly touch any one of those cards.
This way with their name? Okay.
Okay, what are we looking at?
I don't know.
We're looking at Bruce Willis. There was a rumour We can never prove that. But the thing is that Bruce Willis turned out to be the Jack of Spades. Now, all the other cards are entirely different. You had a free choice on both occasions.
Absolutely.
But I can assure you of one thing. If Jack Nicholson was playing cards, his favourite card would just happen to be the Jack of Spades.
Which is on the picture.
Which is on the picture.
Of Jack Nicholson.
So there you go.
This is where I start to think I'm dreaming this. It's not real at all.
You probably are dreaming.
That's brilliant.
It's real.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
You've met some very famous magicians. You've met David Copperfield, haven't you?
I have indeed, yes.
Paul Daniels.
Paul Daniels.
One of the smaller ones.
Sorry?
He's smaller, but
he's smaller, but
beautifully
yes.
formed,
Bigger in my estimation.
Yeah.
He's a wonderful man. He is so freely giving of information. Yeah. Daniels is one of the few magicians in the world who will sit down and talk to you and explain to you the business end of magic.
Well, he came in here, I found him to be an absolute gentleman.
Absolutely.
And a damn fine musician, or magician. Rather,
yes,
too.
indeed. That as well.
Good piano player, too.
Yes.
Have you one more? Have you one more before we finish?
I do indeed.
Would you do? Okay, one more.
Well,
Will I put Jack away, will I?
Yeah, you can put Jack away. My dad actually said to me when I was a small boy, he said, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, well, I've a half a mind to become a magician. And he said that half a mind would probably be enough. So what I did was decided just to make plenty of money.
Okay.
Now what I do is I buy loads of old magazines, chop them into small pieces like this. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I just double it like this by folding it in half, tap it off my hand, flick with my finger, and believe it or not, it turns into the real thing. All except one, of course. This one has a hole in it, it's fake. It just tells you that I'm Pat Fallon, the magician, but then you know that already.
That's fantastic.
But the rest of it is all real.
And I'm sitting here looking at it, and again, I can't be any closer if I'm, apart from living in your pocket.
Would you like some?
Oh, yes,
How about
money.
you have 1, 2,
Absolutely.
and 3. There you go, Mark.
Give me the 20 you promised me earlier on.
That's it, that's the 20 you promised.
That's lovely. He'll be back often. Pat, you're a
my
pleasure.
pleasure.
And
Thank you very much.
congratulations
Thank you, Mark.
on your induction, as I say, in that gold star and that award. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on the programme today. That's all out for this afternoon. Back with you tomorrow. We're talking camper vans and gardening with Dermot, and we're also talking about credit cards and the fraud involved with those and a whole bunch more. Till tomorrow, God bless you, and we shall see you then. Take care. Bye-bye. Oh, you give me...